Oddly enough, the word yawn doesn't make me yawn. You guys are weird. Don't mind me, I'm popping my fingers in an effort to make Brian scream. I popped my elbow a few minutes ago and I thought Brian was going to die.
I thought I was going to die too,
Oh.
but I was more worried about you.
I just did one of these and it went crack and I was like, because it didn't hurt, but it felt wrong. You know, you ever had a thing pop wrong? And Brian was like, ah!
Yes.
Anyway, so here we go, starting the episode. Ow, jam! Hello again and welcome to the Manapool. This is the Manapool number 524. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I
and
feel like there's
another...
at least 152 for 4.
Is there?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Dude, in another 2 years, we'll be doing... What... hang on. Is it 25 squared? Yeah. No. It's 5 to the third? No. Hang on. Where does 625 come into this, damn it?
Okay, I wasn't sure what we were going for, so 625?
It is 25 squared. Okay, that's what I thought. Don't mind me, I'm tired. Anyways. So I am Chewy, the lead dork, and failing miserably at keeping us on topic. With me, as always, are most of the other dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler, tangent master of the group. And, you know, I'm here to talk about new cards. And, you know, there's even less people here than usual to talk over me or under me, so.
Baby.
And I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy in the game. Well, no, sorry.
Wow, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was just awful.
Yeah.
That was just bad. I'm sorry.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group and meanest teacher ever.
Yes.
Well,
but that's not a title for this podcast and everything. That's just my general title at school.
Can Dirk do a better Mike impression than me?
No.
Oh, he's not even gonna try.
But yeah,
no one can impersonate Mike.
Mike is not with us this week, as you can tell if you're watching the YouTube video or live on Twitch. Because, hey, don't forget, we stream this live on Twitch most weeks. Next week is a question, but we'll get into that later. As you can see, Mike has a 404 error because Mike is missing. We're pretty sure he went to a concert with his brother tonight?
I think that's right.
We're pretty sure.
Yeah. He couldn't commit to it before because he didn't know if Thomas would still be available, but looks like he is, so
All right then. So,
yes.
As you might guess, we're here to talk about Guilds of Ravnica because they've shown us all the mechanics and the promos, which means we have a whole mess of cards to talk about. Also, for those of you listening to this in podcast form later, I hope you enjoyed that Sam quiz. That is from, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's from the Professor Beard Teaches Exile.
Right. Because last week we had the live episode.
Right. Yeah, the Professor Beard Teaches Exile episode ended up being like, we had 2 hours and, I don't know, 35 or so minutes. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to put this at the beginning of this.
And it was almost all Mike. I mean, everybody chipped in, but it was probably more Mike than most people were used to. So,
yeah.
By the way, I love your thumbnail for last episode. Something about, and this is not the Professor Beard, this is the Commander Live. I've been wanting to mention this, but something about the expression on Dirk's face in particular is just so awesome.
That is, yeah, and given the way the game played, I thought that would be a good one as well.
Yeah.
Dirk Hey Dirk, did you see the thumbnail for
I want to say yes, but let me go.
there?
Oh, go.
It's each of our heads on our commander that we played with some sort of facial expression that I felt was appropriate, except for Mike's, because all of the cartoon faces that Jars made for Mike, he has no mustache and his beard is a different color. I really need to get him to redo those with like proper Mike face.
Yeah, Brian's turned out really good because it just looks like my mom put me in this dress.
That's exactly what I was going for. But anyway, all right. So enough of last week's episode.
Right. We got this week's episode.
Yeah, we got to talk about this week's episode.
Yep.
Because it's this week.
Yes.
It's weird how that works.
So we are returning to Ravnica yet again. So here we are, and it is Guilds of Ravnica, and the 5 guilds that are going to be featured in this set, while they'll have cards of each color, the 5 guilds that are going to be the basis for the set are Golgari, Izzet, Boros, Dimir, and Selesnya. So should be an interesting mix, because I don't think in either Ravnica or in Return to Ravnica we had those specific 5 together, especially since in original Ravnica set it was 4-3-3, and then in Return to Ravnica it was 5 and 5, but it was not this same breakdown. So should be interesting. And we have the mechanics for each guild.
Yeah, we do.
Shall we go ahead and run through these?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, starting at the top, we've got House Dimir, which is the blue-black guild. And for those that aren't familiar with the lore, but they're very much the spies. They have their hands in everything. The original guilds didn't even necessarily realize that the Dimir existed, and that's how they liked it. But I think at this point the cat's out of the bag. But they're sneaky, and they've had some interesting mechanics in the past, but this time around we've got a new mechanic, and it's Surveil. And the easiest way to think of it is Scry, but with your graveyard. So Surveil, we've got some example cards here. Let's just look at this. Unexplained Disappearance for 1 and a blue is an instant. It's a bounce spell. It's common. Return target creature to its owner's hand. And it has Surveil of 1. And that means look at the top card of your library. Because it's Surveil 1, it's just the one top card. You may put that card into your graveyard. So if it was Scry, it would be you can put it on the top of your library or the bottom of your library. Here, because it's Surveil, it either goes back to the top or to your graveyard. There's no bottom option. But this feeds really, really well into graveyard synergies. It's really too bad Mike's not here, because you hear Surveil and Mike. I think just when we're talking about Mike and Surveil right now, I'm pretty sure he's doing a little happy dance. He doesn't even know why. He's at a concert. Hopefully he's pretty happy. But does this not just look like Mike all over?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Mike is gonna be like, he's gonna mill one.
Yeah. he's gonna look at it as he puts it into the graveyard.
Exactly.
So yeah. There's another card here.
Yeah, there is.
It's called Deadly Visit for 3 and 2 black. It's a sorcery, also common. It's a kill spell, destroy target creature, and it's got Surveil of 2. So
Surveil 2, you look at the top 2, put any number of them in your graveyard and the rest on top in any order. So It really is just graveyard scry.
Yeah, it's graveyard scry. It's the easy way to remember. And the lessons that apply to scry apply here. The difference between scry 1 and scry 2 is fairly important. When scry was originally released in 5th Dawn, everything was scry 2. And then when they brought it back later, they had a lot more scry 1. And scry 1 is fine. It's very good, in a vacuum. Do I want this card or not? But the ability to not only see what's coming, but to reorder it cannot be underestimated. It's just so significant. So the higher the surveil number, obviously the better. And then, like we said, it sets up graveyard shenanigans, or at the very least, you can rearrange the top of your deck a little bit. So, Dimir, graveyard, library manipulation, graveyard manipulation, all good stuff. And it's very easy. I love that with each of these mechanics, I feel like all of them are relatively easy to understand. They actually talked in the video where they were releasing these and talking about them that all of these are solid mechanics, and I agree, but none of them are very high on the complexity meter, and that's on purpose because you're getting 5 mechanics. And if 3 of them are really complex or difficult to understand, that's going to make the set, some people will look at that and go, yeah, this is amazing, but a lot of people are going to look at that and go, I just don't get it. And there's too much to keep
there's a
track
difference
of.
between deep and complicated.
Yes.
Like Surveil is really simple to understand, but it's going to be pretty deep.
Yeah.
As far as what you can do with it and how it serves the game.
Yeah.
But
it's not, but you get it. You hear it and then you go, I get what it does. So
exactly, yeah. If it was all Haunt, that would be awful.
Oh.
Because Haunt was neat and all, but it takes way too long to explain, and even longer to like grok yourself just from a card.
Yeah.
So yeah, Haunt was, while neat, was a complete abject failure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's Surveil. Let's move on to the next guild.
Yay! Is it the next guild?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Womp womp. So yeah, I really like this card. The art,
Okay.
the title, the name, the flavor, everything. It's
Well,
called Sonic Assault. And you'll note that all of these little circular things in the art, that's really Sonic and Knuckles assaulting this Minotaur.
See, now I have that song running through my head. Thank you very much.
What?
Boop, 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 boo, doo, doo.
Anyway, so Sonic Assault, for 1, a blue and a red, is a common instant that says tap target creature. Sonic Assault deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. Makes sense. And it has the Is-It mechanic Jumpstart. What's that, you ask? I'll tell you. Jumpstart is sort of like Flashback.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it's totally Flashback with an extra thing. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. And then you exile this card. So, you can cast Sonic Assault, and then later, you can discard a card and jumpstart Sonic Assault.
So the jumpstart in this is sort of like jumpstarting an engine where it's there, it's just not working unless you give it a little bit of oomph to get it going.
Hey, there you go, yeah. And that oomph is paying the cost
Discarding a
and
card.
discarding a card, yeah.
That's actually kind of neat.
Yeah. And like I said on Monday Night Magic, I love the name. Like, people were like, Jumpstart, dumb name. No, it's awesome because you can say, I'm going to jumpstart Sonic Assault. And that just flows really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Flashback. I'm going to flashback this. And that makes sense. You're like, I'm going to jumpstart this. And you're like, oh, it just feels good.
Well, and is it just me, or is it between the Dimir and the Is-It, at least the jumpstart, that blue seems to be saying, hey, we're going to let you do something, but it comes at the expense of, putting stuff potentially in the graveyard.
Yeah. This works really well with Surveil. And the fact that they share a color is a big thing. Mostly, I'm sure that they've designed some of that for limited play.
Mm-hmm.
So that, the mechanics that share colors work at least somewhat well together. As we'll see in just a minute, the black of Golgari and Dimir also work well together. But yeah, so you can, like chat is actually saying right now, you can surveil a card into your graveyard that has Jumpstart, and then jumpstart that card by discarding another card with Jumpstart, and it just makes crazy chain plays happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely could see doing that and getting, like you said, that or something with flashback if you're doing, you know, extended and all that, and being able to just get stuff into the graveyard. I remember what the title is. It's been a while.
Just say Commander.
Commander. There we
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
But yeah, being able to essentially kind of control your graveyard so that you have a second source of plays. But unlike the library where it's coming at you random, this one actually says, I know what I've got and I can play it at any time. So it's like having a much bigger, hand.
Yeah.
That sort of deal.
Seems good. Nice and simple, but has huge
potential.
Yeah. Brian, you got anything else?
I think he died.
Oh, Brian's muted. Oh. I didn't see a BRB pop up, so I didn't realize Brian had stepped away. Okay.
And I'm back. Sorry, and Carrie had asked a question. I said, "Should I put BRB?" And it was relatively quick. So I'm sorry. We finished Jumpstart, right?
Oh, I was just asking you, do you have anything else to add on Jumpstart? But since you didn't hear what we talked about in the first place, let's assume that we covered it all.
I'm assuming you covered all. It's flashback, and you're always discarding a card. So it's kind of a mesh between flashback and what's the one that Mike was using in his deck the other day?
Retrace.
And Retrace, yeah. And are the experimenters, and they're also in charge of public facilities for some reason, like water and air conditioning units and things like that. Which might explain why my air conditioning unit the other day stopped working, and it was 90 degrees on the second floor of my house at night.
That sounds awful.
It was not good. But luckily we had somebody out the next day. They worked the sim. So, next.
Okay. So the next one is Golgari Swarm. And their ability is going to be Undergrowth. So the example of this one...
Undergrowth is cooking? Wait. I'm mixing my wrestlers, aren't I?
Ba-ba-da-ba. No, wait. That was John Cena.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the example card for Undergrowth is Mood Mark Painter. And this one is for 2 and 2 black. It's a human shaman that's a 2/3. And has no other ability except for Undergrowth. When Moon Mark Painter enters the battlefield, target player gains Menace and gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
Chewy.
Cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures is what Menace means with the reminder text.
I want to get it +X/+O and attack Chewy with my fist.
What'd I do?
I don't know, but he said target player, not target creature. So
I
think he meant target player. I meant creature. He said player.
Yeah, creature, sorry.
For a common?
Yeah.
This seems pretty good and limited because this Menace is pretty good because it's a decent form of evasion, especially when they don't see it coming. And then the power boost is just like, that could be pretty significant. And it means that either they're dealing a bunch more damage to you than you were expecting, or if they have enough guys to throw in the way, they're probably losing most of those guys. So, and you're still left with this 2/3, if nothing else, and possibly more dead creatures. Yeah. So Undergrowth doesn't always do the same thing. It's an ability that cares about the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
Yeah, it's an ability word that's used to tie together the count creatures in your graveyard. Yeah. What it does with those is completely up to the card itself.
Right.
And that kind of plays into the Golgari thing, because their thing is because Dredge was their ability in the past, getting stuff into the graveyard.
And then Scavenge or Salvage. What was
Scavenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing, and this is a question for you guys, is there's anything in Standard currently that involves bouncing a creature and then coming back into the like blinking
Bouncing and blinking?
or something like the blink ability.
What about it?
Is there anything in standard that does that? That blinks something out and then it comes back in?
You want to get
Probably.
multiple uses of this, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe. Let's say yes, but I don't know how much of it would be in black. Blinking usually belongs in white and blue. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, this Golgari shares black with Dimir, and of course, this works really well with getting more creatures in your graveyard from Surveil.
Yeah, just like Surveil, as you probably pointed out while I wasn't here, works really well with Jumpstart.
Yep.
So, yeah, Surveil doing a lot of work.
Son,
Yep.
do work, son.
And the Golgari, live in the underground and are basically in charge of sewers and maintaining basically the underground. I'm sure it's a little more involved than that. They have mushroom farms. I don't know what else to say about that.
Delicious.
Yum. Next, we've got the Boros. And the Boros are kind of like the police meet the military. So, there you go. Their new ability is really interesting. I feel like the Boros have kind of gotten the shaft to a certain extent in the last times they showed up. Because first they had Radiance, which was just, It's an okay ability, but they didn't really know what to do with it. And then last time, they had the ability that cared about when you attack with 3 or more creatures, and it was fine, but I think because the Boros are so aggro, and they make these abilities to play off of that, they tend to be a little more like, oh look, I attacked my creatures. They don't come across as being super innovative. I actually really like this new ability. I think it's still very aggro. It still plays into what they want to do, but it's kind of got an interesting twist on it. So the ability is Mentor, and it works the same regardless. Unlike Undergrowth, this is what it does. It says, when a creature with Mentor attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. So the Mentor creature is basically taking this other creature and saying, this is how you do it, son. This is how you fight. It's teaching them, and that's a counter, so it stays on forever. I think that's really cool. Here's the first example. Here is the very awesomely named Hammer Dropper.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put the hammer down? Sorry, Avengers reference, and not a very good one, but yeah.
It really
He does
wasn't.
look a little. He looks a little like Thor, though. So the Hammer Dropper costs 2, a white, and a red for a 5/2 giant soldier. Common, and he has Mentor. That's it. But it's cool because he has such a high power to toughness ratio. Chances are he's not going to get to survive too many attacks, but for 4 mana and 5 power, swinging once, almost anything that he swings with is going to have a lower power than him. So you're going to get to be able to use it at least the once. And then the second we've got here is the Barging Sergeant. Barging Sergeant. Wow, that's for 4 and a red, it's a Minotaur Soldier, common, a 4/2 with haste and Mentor. So again, it comes out of nowhere. You spend 5 mana, go ahead and put it down, and immediately mess up their combat math because you're adding 4 power to the board, plus again a +1/+1 counter on something else. And the flavor text for the Barging Sergeant is, "Don't stop till your horns come out their back."
Makes sense.
Yeah. Police brutality? Anybody? Yeah.
Huh.
So, I think it's actually pretty cool. This may be my favorite Boros mechanic of all time. We'll have to see how it's implemented, but so far so good. But you see it and you're like, I get how it works.
Yeah, and I love I said this on Monday Night Magic, but I'm going to take it even further. I love the flavor of Mentor.
Mm-hmm.
because the bigger, harder hitting creature is teaching the smaller, less harder hitting creature something, and eventually you teach that creature everything you can, and you can't give them counters anymore. It's like, you have learned all you can from me. How cool is that?
Yeah, I love it. It's flavorful. It's easy to understand, and I feel like in limited it could be quite good. So, yeah. Next, hippies. I mean, next.
All right, so this one is from the Selesnya conclave, and it is Convoke.
Yay.
Isn't this a return ability?
It is the
Yeah.
only of these five. It is the only ability returning exactly as it is. Although they've got some different twists on it to be expected, but yeah, Convoke.
So the example is Rosemane Centaur. For 3, a green and a white, it's a Centaur soldier that's a 4/4 with Convoke and Vigilance. The Convoke reminder text says that your creature can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap may, while casting this spell, pays for 1 colorless mana or 1 mana of that creature's color.
Right. So, for example, if you're actually using him to tap for something else with Convoke, you can add either a generic mana, a green mana, or a white mana, since those are all in his cost. If you want to tap a Llanowar elf, well, why wouldn't you? But you can only add either generic or green because he doesn't actually have white himself. So, and you're going to probably see things that aren't creatures with Convoke, and we've seen those sorts of spells before, like Court of Calling in previous Ravnica sets. So, and I think it was reprinted in the core set. So, but this guy seems pretty good. A 4/4 with Vigilance for 5 mana.
At
Not
common.
At common. Not super exciting, but very, very solid. And the fact that you might get him out a turn early. I don't know how often you're going like 1 drop, 2 drop, this guy on turn 3. That's pretty like that may be wishful thinking, but when it happens, that's gonna be terrifying because how often are you prepared for a 4/4 with Vigilance on your turn 3? Might start getting in there and taking you down. So, yeah, I like Convoke. I've always liked Convoke.
Yeah.
The only downside is it can encourage you to overextend a little bit, but
Do it.
do it. Do it. Okay. So those are the 5 mechanics associated with the guilds. There are a couple other mechanics in the set, of course, because it's not just going to be these, but those are the ones associated with the guilds.
Well,
What?
okay. Other than
Okay, when I
evergreen
say
mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they've got a couple.
Those are the only mechanics in the set other than evergreen things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They've also brought back split cards.
Mm-hmm.
And this drives me up the wall because you have to turn your head.
Why can they not just?
I don't know. Because this is how Magic cards are displayed, and why would they bother to change that?
Okay. Well, what is this thing?
So this, oh God, this is one that there's no. So split cards. Did I say hybrid the first time?
Well, we have both an example of both here. So
Yeah. So they've brought back split cards and hybrid mana. Duh. They've also reprinted the shocks. I think we forgot to mention that on Monday Night Magic. The shock lands are back. Duh. Yep. Much to no one's surprise, apparently, except for the professor from Tolarian Community College, because he wanted some sort of, I'm gonna guess, like a predictive hot take, so he could be like, "Look how smart I am," and nope, you're dumb. Of course, they're gonna reprint the shock lands.
He released it, and like literally the next day,
Yeah.
they were like, "Yeah."
But I'm sure it got him lots of clicks, so good for him.
I honestly was wondering if they were going to do some other take on Dual Land, and I'm sure we're going to see one at common or uncommon. But I didn't know that the Shocklands were a given, but they are so immensely popular, and they've been printed in standard a couple times. As good as they are safe. It's not like they're broken or anything. So there's really not a reason not to do them. So yeah, nice.
But anyway,
Right.
so split cards. Split cards have always had a naming convention of the original split cards were something and something.
Yeah.
Like fire and ice.
Yeah.
Or I'm having serious trouble coming up with any of the old split
research
cards.
and development.
Yeah, research and there we go. Yeah. Stuff like that. It's first card name and a second card name. Then we had the cards with
fusion.
No. With the most recent ones. Aftermath that were something to something, like rags to riches.
Yeah.
And now we have this one, which is neither of those things, because the first half is called status, and the second half is called statue.
So it's not status and statue?
No. I don't think it's got a connecting word. Oh, wait a minute. Stark said in the chat, I think Mark Rosewater has said there isn't a connecting word these times. The connection is that the first 3 letters of each word are the same.
Oh!
Which is what I hoped. I said this on Monday Night Magic. I really hope that they're all like this and very similar. It's going to be a pain in the ass to mention these cards.
I like how at least with this
cute.
one... Well, I like how they work the mana cost with this. So
Yeah. Because that would make this... Because if in the Commander format, this would be hard to get split cards of this sort if they didn't have something similar in terms of their mana cost. Just in terms of formats.
Yeah.
I don't
they've
understand that entire statement, but
they have done split cards before where one half, look at Fire and Ice, one half is blue, the other half is red. They've done split cards where...
Like research and development, where one half was is it, and I don't remember what research was.
If you had said it, it's Simic. It's Simic.
Is it Simic? Yeah, that makes sense from the name, isn't it?
In Time Spiral, they actually had mono red split cards, like Boom and Bust.
Oops.
So it was just, do you want the small spell or the big spell?
Yeah.
So this is a really interesting take on this.
Yeah, so status has the mana cost. They're both halves are instant, and it's an uncommon.
Right.
But status...
Wouldn't it be funny if one was an uncommon, one was a rare?
One was a rare. Like, what?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh my god, I'm going to predict it right now. If Magic is going in another 20 years, at some point in there, we will see split cards where one half is always the same and the other half is randomized. Like, you'll have one half that's uncommon and one half that's rare.
That is... You know how much I love RNG and like Hearthstone and stuff? That's the hotness. I mean...
That sounds miserable, but I would not put it past them at all. Just because it's a physical card game, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So
Although,
anyway, go ahead.
They did something similar with the unstable. So But anyway. Okay. So status has the mana cost of a single black-green hybrid, and it says target creature gets +1/+1 and gains Death Touch until end of turn.
Very nice instant combat speed. Combat trick. Instant speed combat trick, sorry.
And the thing that everyone is immediately jumped on was Goblin Chain Whirler.
Buh!
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
That just slots right into the already in existence red-black aggro deck.
Excuse me, I'm seeing you poop a little.
A little? The other half of the split card is Statue, which costs 2, a black, and a green. So one half is hybrid, the other half is traditional golden.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like that a lot.
And the statue says, destroy target artifact, comma, clues, creature, comma, or enchantment. Clues
I don't get the reference to clues.
Clues corrected me after the last one. Because I said destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment. He's like, it destroys artifacts and creatures. I was like, yeah.
Oh, is this like an eats, shoots, and leaves kind of thing? So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment. That's awfully narrow.
Exactly.
It's like a worse naturalized.
But that costs twice as much and a second color. But it's a half of a split card, so they can make it that narrow, right?
Yeah.
But
so
it's artifact or creature or enchantment.
So I love the fact that both of these feel very distinct, and you want to run them for different reasons, right? Although most of the time you're going to find a use for one of these. Both halves are good. Whether or not they're efficient for their cost, that's a separate question. But I just love the fact that as long as you're running a green-black deck, you can always cast status. Always, as long as you have access to either of those colors. And then once you get up the higher cost and have access to both colors, then you kind of get quote-unquote upgraded to statue. Well, there will be instances where status is better. Statue, sorry, I'm a lawyer, so statute. But statue being just a point-blank kill spell plus naturalize is really good. So I love the flexibility here, but also the way it rewards you at different parts of the game. So,
yeah. And it says they're guild-based split cards, so this is almost certainly a cycle, maybe two. And we've got the hybrid half and the multicolored half. So like I said, there'll be at least 5 of these, one for each guild, possibly 2 sets for each guild. You know, one at uncommon, one at rare, or something like that. They've done that before. So yeah. I look forward to seeing what these do and what their names are, because that makes me happy.
Yeah. Let the speculation begin. Quietly.
How about...
I'm just awful today.
How about... No, I got nothing.
So that's everything that was covered in the mechanics article.
Yeah. So those are your mechanics. Like Brian was saying earlier, they're all simple.
Solid.
They're all safe.
Yeah.
But that's because over the next 2 sets, we're going to get 10. So they can't have one that's super complicated. They learned that, luckily. And they all need to work in limited for the most part. They all need to work independently. They need to work together somewhat. Going simple is the easiest and best way to get all of those things to work together.
And honestly, actually, them being more simple, more understandable, actually, I think presents more interaction possibilities with other cards that are in standard, other cards that are going to share formats with them. Think about it as like the splice issue, where splice was a cool mechanic, but guess what? Splice didn't care jack about anything from Mirrodin block, and didn't care about anything from Ravnica block. So you literally had this mechanic that was only usable with cards from that same block. So these mechanics being what they are, you know, Surveil is going to work really well with some of the stuff that we've seen from or that we already have from existing sets, and will probably work well with cards from whatever block is coming after Return to Ravnica. So
what is the name of the next set? I can never freaking remember.
You mean the one with the other 5 guilds?
It's Guilds of Ravnica and then something, and then one we don't know.
Right.
Ravnica Allegiance. Okay.
Okay.
You can actually see it. Hang on, let me go back to OBS and click on this. If you just go up to products, it's It's right there under coming soon. That's pretty cool. Anyway. Cool. All right, so now we've got all the promo cards and whatnot. We covered these sort of quickly on Monday Night Magic. But That's not what we do here. We do things in depth, damn it.
Yes, in depth.
Oh, wait a minute. V-Bane said confirmed 10 in set. Did they confirm that there are 10 split cards in the set, or are you cracking a joke like, Half-Life 3 confirmed? It's on the Oh, did it say that in the article?
Mm-hmm.
I don't read the article. I look at the pictures. It's like the opposite of Playboy. It doesn't say that. Oh, 2 cycles of split cards way up here at the top. Stupid.
Good job.
All right. Yes. Confirmed 10 in the set right there on the screen. I didn't read the intro line. My bad. I might be an idiot. Okay, so promos and stuff, right? Right.
Promos. Hey, Dark, have you seen this article yet?
I've not read through it or anything, no.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and go to the Buy a Box promo, this first one right here, and go ahead and read this card to us.
So, Impervious Great Wurm. For 7 and 3 green, it's a mythic worm. That's a 6/6 with Convoke and Indestructible.
I'm sorry, it's a what?
A 16/16.
It sounded
Yeah,
like
I
Yeah,
misspoke
there you
on that
go.
one.
Okay.
6/6, yeah. 16/16. And the flavor text says the ultimate answer to intrigue and subtlety. Subtlety.
It's a weird word.
Yeah, subtletly.
Not spelt at all how you say it.
Yeah.
The
So this
ultimate
thing-
answer to intrigue and subletting.
Subletting. Sublettity.
It doesn't care how you pronounce it. It's just going to eat your face.
Yeah, that's well.
Poor Autocathon worm.
Autochthon worm?
Autochthon. That is literally the closest I've ever come in my life.
I think it is, actually.
So, this worm is bigger than the Eldrazi, right?
Yeah, dude. This is now the biggest creature card in Magic.
Yes. And
Except for the Depths card, but that's a land that turns into a 20/20.
Yeah, that's a token.
Yeah, that's
not
a
a creature
token.
card.
by comparison, the worm, the Autochthon worm, costs 10 generic, 3 green, and 2 white, and is a 9/14. Now it has built-in trample, but this costs 5.
But it
less.
dies to Doomblade.
It does die to Doomblade, and this costs literally 5 less mana and doesn't require you to go into white. And it's a 16/16.
That's indestructible.
creatures
that you
aren't-
can convoke in.
That you can convoke it. Well, the other worm also had convoke. That was kind of a
Yeah.
big thing with it. But yeah, this doesn't really cost 10. I mean, it does on an empty board, but
Although I think Bill said on Monday Night Magic, if you're tapping that many guys to get this on the battlefield instead of swinging with that many guys, you might be doing something wrong.
you might be. Although I mentioned before, convoke might lead you to overextend. Well, this at least, if you overextend into this, unless they're able to bounce it or exile it, overextending into this is fine because they're going to be like Wrath, and you're like,
Okay.
Okay.
Sick.
It stops on a die. It is a 16/16 and a 0/1 wall, a 0/1 plant.
Plant, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see,
this
he's
thing-
an impervious great worm, so he's got a really huge mouth. He's covered in this indestructible shell, but he's got dainty little feet.
But do I like it? I think it's awesome. And, I think this is a perfectly fine buy a box promo because this is the buy a box promo. And I think it's desirable enough that people will go, hey, that's really awesome. But I don't know that it's going to be setting the tournament world on fire because ultimately there are answers to it, and it costs 10 mana, and especially in standard, God forbid, the more eternal formats, you're not, again, especially in decks where you're going to be flooding the board, you're going to be winning going wide. You're not going to win with this thing. So I'm fine with this being a buy a box promo.
And just before we move on, everything, Chewie has it wrong. It doesn't have little dainty feet. The way this attacks is it's like the Tyrannosaurus in Jurassic Park when Dr. Grant has got the torch and he's waving it around. He's like, "Go fetch," and the worm goes, "Yes, sir." And so it goes. You chump block it with a something, and it goes, "That mine, squirrel."
Michael
and so
Crichton,
you can chump it with something.
Michael Crichton spent a good couple pages in the Book of the Lost World, explaining why the Tyrannosaurus probably didn't have movement-based vision, but of course, because it was in a movie, and they'd already shown, quote unquote, that it did in the Lost World movie, they couldn't go back and correct it and say, "Oh, that thing you saw last time, that's not actually how that works." Ha 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 ha. So they just perpetuated it.
Yeah, all paleontologists are like, yeah, that's not how that works because predators don't do that.
Yeah. The most basic instinct of any prey ever is
except
to freeze.
for fainting goats.
Except for but think about what happened. Why do people hit deer? Because deer freeze. So if a Tyrannosaurus was hunting and the prey goes, "Better stand still," the Tyrannosaurus, if it worked the way that it did in the movie, the Tyrannosaurus would, die from lack of food because Right. So, but this isn't a dinosaur, it's a worm.
Yeah, so anyway, now that we're back to this, this has been pointed out several times. We mentioned it on Monday Night Magic as well. There's a card in Standard that goes really well with Impervious Great Worm, and that is Thud.
Thud? Oh, is that the fling that doesn't attack a creature?
No, it's the sorcery speed fling.
Okay.
So
I don't know what I'm thinking of. So, okay. But it only costs a red, right?
I don't remember if it's 1 red or 2. Hang on.
Oh.
Gatherer, since I'm...
And fling is that it's not, it has to be on the board. You just fling something from your hand, or does it have to be on the board?
No, it definitely has to be on the board.
Yeah. Fling is 1 in a red, sacrifice creature, and throw it at a target. Yeah, Thud is a single red sorcery. Excuse me.
Yeah.
My bad.
To any target. Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it say sacrifice on Thud?
Well, of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay,
you can't pay a single red and deal 16 to something and then swing with it.
Well, no. My question was if it says sacrifice, then it's like, well, the indestructible doesn't protect it from that.
No, but you're dealing 16.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That would not be fair. Let me just play this big guy and then just
for 11 mana, I deal you 16 damage.
Well, not even this guy. Just play out like, a 5/5, and the next turn, I have 2 thuds. You're dead. Yeah, I don't know.
That would end the game real quick, wouldn't it?
Stark, I don't know what I was thinking about. I'm sorry. Stark points out that fling that doesn't attack a creature, Brian, what the hell? Because that would be dumb. That would be dumb. So, yeah. So, anyway. Right.
Anyway, so yeah, this is the buy box promo, just like Fire Song and Sunspeaker.
Yeah.
And the Nexus of Fate. I don't think this one is going to cause near the controversy the Nexus of Fate has.
I highly doubt it.
Never mind that controversy is essentially gone already, because Magic nerds just like to complain.
No.
Well, no, we mentioned it, so it's going to flare back up again because it's too soon. Too soon.
Good. It was a stupid controversy in air quotes to begin with, because nerds are stupid. So let's move on to the event promos.
Right. So, on the open house, which is on September 22nd and 23rd, you can get a promotional Boros Challenger for a red and a white. It's a human soldier. It's uncommon, and it's a 2/3. full art on here, by the way. It looks pretty awesome.
Mhm.
It has Mentor, so that whole when it attacks with a smaller power creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's a 2/3, so you got to attack with a 1/1 or 0 something to get it. But there you go.
Hey,
And
Brian,
how? Yes.
you wanna do that again? Your
Okay.
explanation of Mentor could be taken in
Awful.
the exact opposite way of what Mentor does.
Okay. So Mentor, as a refresher, when this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power.
There you
In
go.
my attempt to shortcut it, I think I did a terrible, awful, horrible job.
You were like, when this attacks with something smaller, you put a counter on it, and I'm like, what? No.
Not on the challenger, on the smaller creature. I'm helping little people. I get better. And
There's
by
a
little
political
people, I
joke to
don't-
be made here, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
However, all right. So, but this guy has a little added bonus. You can pay 2, a red and a white, to give Boros Challenger +1/+1 until end of turn. Not only is that nifty for instant speed combat tricks, make it hard for them to block correctly, but if used before attacking, before it, then you will be able to mentor bigger creatures. Do not try to do this like mid combat. If
Yeah, I
you
mean,
do,
I think the latest you can do is respond to the Mentor trigger.
well, and it's got to be a target attacking creature with lesser power. So I think when you target the other creature, for it to be a legal target, it's already got to have lesser power. So I think just to be, I would defer to Mike, but just to be on the safe side,
I was gonna say I don't think that's right. I think it checks on resolution, not at the beginning. But
I don't know. But anyway,
wait,
don't wait too long to do it.
Judge.
Now, but
Donovan Bain
how-
says by the time you attack, it's already too late to pump.
See, that's what I thought. Every now and then, I've got it right. But if you
That's
want to
not
kind
what
of
you were right about.
well, every now and then I'm right, even if it's for the wrong reason. But my point being, as well, you can almost make it look like you forgot about it if you attack without pumping, and the opponent's like, haha. You can still use this whenever you want if you're trying to set them up for a bad block. So, sneaksies. What
Yeah.
else we got for promos?
So the next one, Draft Weekend, October 6th and 7th, is this used to be the release event. Now it's Draft Weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
You get Firemind's Research, I'm going to guess this is foil and a maybe different art, maybe?
Probably.
But
I think-
Firemind's Research is really cool.
Yeah, it's nifty.
It costs a blue and a red for a rare enchantment. And it says, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Firemind's Research. It's kind of sad that it's a charge counter, actually. But hey, you know. For 1 and a blue and remove 2 charge counters, you draw... What was that? You draw a card. Hey, Y2J Crisis just subscribed. Thank you. Welcome to the pool. Try to keep those kids from running, would you? Do your job. You're a lifeguard now. Anyway. Right, remove 2 charge counters to draw a card. That's cool. Because the Izzet loves casting spells, don't you know? And then for 1 and a red, and remove 5 charge counters, you deal 5 damage to any target.
Which requires a whole lot of setup, but 5 damage is a lot of damage.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially since you're going to be casting those spells anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
really
like
cool
it.
that you can,
Yeah.
like, cast a thing. Like, they're going to attack you with a thing, and you look down and your Firemind's Research has 3 counters. You can go, oh, I cast this spell, this whatever spell, and then I counter my own spell, and then I kill your thing with 5 toughness. Ha! I mean, that's an extreme case, but it's possible.
Yeah.
It's just a neat,
Well,
a neat mechanic. Or not mechanic. You know what I mean. Neat card. There we go.
Yes.
all right. Quick question: how much is
Yeah.
lightning bolt?
A red.
1 red.
Yeah.
So
It's totally not in standard, but go
4.
ahead.
Well, I'm just saying. So 4 of those. That's 12 damage.
I mean, it's sort of in
Shock.
standard.
Well, shock is 1.
Yeah.
So that's 14, and then so 2 more puts them at 1 shot shy of killing them.
Dirk is gonna build counterburn in standard. Hey, thank you, Amar Meta. Is that right? Thank you for the follow.
Well, whenever Is It does its thing, whenever the Ravnica sets come out and everything, it does result in me having to take some of the Is It rares like this one and go, all right, well, let me work on my commander deck.
Yeah, Pinball Witch earlier said that this totally looks like a commander card, and I think she's right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it.
Because mine went through some editing whenever Theros stuff came out. And then the new Ravnica set came out. I had to edit the deck.
Well, think about how good this would be in your proliferate deck.
In the what deck?
The proliferate deck.
Yeah.
Dirk said, yeah.
Yeah. It would.
Alrighty then.
Moving on.
So, Magic League is not something I've really ever done before, but apparently if you get signed up for a league and you complete at least 10 matches, you get a promo version of Necrotic Wound. This is a really interesting spell. We'll see. Time will tell if this is as good as like Fatal Push or something like that, or if it's just like But anytime you've got cheap removal, you need to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
So
cheap removal
necrotic-
that scales, especially.
It scales, yes.
Yeah.
But we'll have to. It's not as viable at the beginning of the game, so there's a question about that. But we'll see. We'll see. So for a single black, it's an instant. It's an uncommon, and it has Undergrowth. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. If this creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So all you need is 16 creature cards in your graveyard, and you can exile the Impervious Great Worm.
Yeah, you can.
That. But seriously, I do think this is a good card. It's interesting because it is a non-creature card with Undergrowth. So for your deck building consideration, you've got to make sure, like in a strictly control build, Necrotic Wound is not as good as some other kill spells because you're not going to have as many creature cards to go to your graveyard. However, how many creature cards do you even really need to have in your graveyard before this becomes good? Against an aggro deck that's trying to kill you with 2 2s and 3 3s, it's not going to take very long. So my point of my ramble is that this, I think, is one to watch, but before everybody starts saying this is like a $5 uncommon, I think we need to see how things shake out a bit first, because I could see people going, it's not quick enough, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Next.
All right. Then there's the store championships. So on September 10th to the 16th, it's the core set 2019 store championships, but there's a potential for this card, and that one is Emmara, Soul of the Accord. For green and a white, it's a 2/2 elf cleric that's rare. A legendary creature, elf cleric. That's rare. And whenever Emmara, Soul of the Accord becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink.
Sick.
So you remember how the last Emmara card was kind of Because,
Yeah, this one.
Because of the whole rarity swap thing.
Yeah.
With we just talked about it on Tuesday, and I can't remember the name of the card.
Yeah, the thing, the elemental thing.
Yeah, that one. Voice of Resurgence. Thank you, Witch.
Right. Yeah, this one's a lot better. This one is a lot better in a set and a guild where the focus is Convoke. This seems pretty good. if there's a clear board, you can always just attack with her, get a guy. But if you've got any convoke spells at all, you're like, hey, look, she's basically a mana dork that for either a green or a white that gets you another little dude with lifelink, which could be important to swarm the opponent with later. And then the next time you play convoke, that little dude can help power that next spell. She can single-handedly help you extend without necessarily expending too many resources from your hand. So that's good. I like this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the last 5
And
years,
with the-
four or five, however long since the last Ravnica, she's lost 3-5 off of her stats. I wonder, did she go keto?
Hot yoga.
Sick.
The 10th through the 16th of September is literally next week. By the time some people are listening to it, it's like now.
Yeah, go do it now.
Oh yeah, because this will come out on Sunday the 9th. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the participation promo, by the way, for the store championship.
Yeah.
If you win the whole thing, you'll get a playmat. And the
This is-
playmat is awesome.
This is
tight.
freaking sick, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have seen this
the magic
art.
symbol with a floating island or floating landmass with a church on it, but the church has 5 steeples forming the magic symbol.
Yeah, the Planeswalker
the
symbol.
Planeswalker symbol.
There you go.
Nice. And then we got a couple last promos here. We've got the Friday night promos for October. This is through January 8th, so early October through mid-January. Sure.
What?
October, November, December is what I would think, but this says the Guilds of Ravnica season, October 5th through January 18th. So, so I guess they're not doing them per month anymore. The stores will have access to 3 different promos they can distribute as they see fit.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
Almost
the first
over.
one we
Let's see
So-
who's going to do the first one.
go ahead, Dirk. I know how much you love your Selesnias.
All right.
Zzz.
Conclave Tribunal. For 3 and a white, it's a uncommon enchantment with Convoke. When Conclave Tribunal enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Conclave Tribunal leaves the battlefield.
So it's
It's an O-ring.
It's like an O-ring.
yeah. Well, it's the fixed O-ring
Yeah.
with the new wording with Convoke.
Yes.
Sick.
I like it. Next, we've got Sinister Sabotage. For 1, a blue and a blue, so it's the same mana cost as cancel. It's an instant, it's uncommon. Counter target spell, so it's a cancel, but it also has Surveil 1 attached.
And
I like
people in the chat that came in late don't know Surveil. Real quick,
Okay.
what's Surveil again?
Surveil is Scry, but with graveyards. So, for something that has Surveil 1, when the spell resolves, you look at the top card of your library, and you can choose to either put it back on top of your library, or you can put it into your graveyard. Anything with a value over 1, let's say 2, you look at that many of the top cards. So you look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can put any number of those back on top of your library, put the rest in your graveyard.
There you
So,
go.
pretty cool. The flavor text here is really interesting and kind of speaks to what's going on Ravnica. This is spoken by Lazov, who is the guild leader for the Dimir. He says, "We have intel that some guilds have fallen under an intruder's influence. Until we're sure..." What?
Invader's influence?
What'd I say?
It doesn't matter.
All right. until we're sure, no venture succeeds. So, and the is it obviously this is an is it mage trying to do something, and instead you got the symbol of the Dimir showing up, and obviously not what he was trying to do. So he's entirely correct. Obviously, Nicol Bolas has been influencing things on Ravnica longer than people suspected, and it's interesting that the Dimir of all people are like getting clued into that and are saying, you know what, we don't know what end some of these things are going toward. So until we're sure, everything stops. No, new experiments don't work anymore. Make sure they don't work anymore. And because Raul Zarek has been found to be working for Nicol Bolas, the is it themselves could very well be, being influenced by him without realizing it. So I just thought that was interesting. Next. What?
I'm sorry, Stark. Oh god, Stark in the chat says, Dimir, we work in the shadows, manipulating people without them realizing we were there. Also, Dimir, ha ha ha, you got pranked, idiot. The Dimir broke your stupid crap, moron. It's a big ass Dimir symbol that's like oogity boogetying at this guy. So.
It's true. That's true. It's hard to pretend that anybody else could have done it. Oh, it's the Rakdos.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, okay, the last F&M promo is Thought Erasure, which is a sorcery for a blue and a white. It's uncommon as all of these F&M promos are.
A blue and a black.
What did I say? Doesn't matter.
A blue and a white.
A blue and a black. Excuse me. I don't know my colors. And it says, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Surveil 1. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I like it.
And the flavor
text
text
is kind of interesting.
Is ice cold. It's truly the highest honor, isn't it? To be remembered? Pity for you.
Ooh.
Damn.
The very last promo here, well, almost the last, I guess. Ravnica Weekend. They'll be hosting Ravnica Weekend November 9th through the 11th. And for participating, you can get one of the special guild-affiliated premium foil basic lands. And these are sweet-looking, and it's kind of neat to see, people look at the full art lands from Zendikar and Return to Zendikar, Scars of Zendikar Part 2, the Zendikarian, and,
it's the Zendikarining, duh.
Okay, sorry. And Unglued and Unhinged and all those, and, those are beautiful, but it's nice to see that even when we're still working with the card frame and the card type area here, text box and all that, you can still make something that really makes everybody stand up and go nice. So these look awesome.
Yeah, so the text box has elements of the like the logo from each one.
Mm-hmm.
And also, look carefully, the expansion symbol is the guild symbol for each one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like, how sick is that?
Pretty sick.
And yeah, the Izzet Island is right here. So these two are Selesnya, these two are Dimir, these two are Izzet, these two are Boros, and these two are Golgari.
Mm-hmm.
One last promo to talk about. And
Sort of?
Sort of, because if you just buy boosters of Return to Ravnica, this will never come up. It doesn't really matter. It's only if you want to buy what is essentially a completely separate supplemental product.
Correct. The Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition, which will be it's sort of like a From the Vault.
Yeah.
But with more stuff that goes along with it. Because if you'll
It's-
remember, From the Vault was, here are these specific cards. Give us money. You get these specific cards. That's it. You're done.
It's kind of like, Mike's bought many of the From the Vault. It's
I think he's
basically
got
for
all of
display.
them.
Well, I didn't want to assume, but I thought it was pretty close. But they're basically for display purposes. I mean, you can certainly play with them, but it's, hey, look at these nifty alternate art versions of these popular cards. This is like From the Vault almost meets a draft or meets conspiracy or something like that, because this is intended to be drafted. So what it is it is a special, basically, booster box that you buy directly from Wizards. This is not going to be in your local game store.
Not directly from Wizards.
No?
You buy directly from Hasbro.
Hasbro. Okay.
On HasbroToyShop.com.
Okay. Which
God
Wizards
help us all.
is a subsidiary of Hasbro. So, but yeah, it costs $250 or $249.99. I'm sure, plus tax. And they send you the draft side box. It has 24 packs of Guilds of Ravnica. And
Nope. It has 24 packs of Guilds of Ravnica, 8 of which are the Planeswalker packs.
Yes. Which are going to have the normal contents of a Guilds of Ravnica booster pack plus a alternate art or full art alternate art Planeswalker card. So 8 of those these cards don't replace the entire booster pack. It's these cards plus a booster pack, and they're labeled so you can know which one is which, or you can tell which booster packs are regular Return to Ravnica Guilds of Ravnica, and then which ones will also have the Planeswalker cards in them. And the thought is, draft with it, or if you just want to buy it and open it, that's up to you, but it is enough to draft the set plus these Planeswalker cards.
Yeah, so it's these 7 that we see here plus one more who is Vraska. They just haven't shown Vraska yet.
Right. Vraska will be previewed next week.
Yeah.
The Planeswalkers that are returning, and keep in mind these are not standard legal. So these being here does not make these Planeswalkers standard legal, except for the 2 that are actually going to be in Guilds of Ravnica. But the ones that are returning that are not standard legal are Elspeth, Knight Errant, who was the first one, right? The first Elspeth. Teferi, Hero of Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, who's the one that's currently making a name for himself in standard. So he actually is standard legal. Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus, Liliana, the Last Hope, Daretti, Ingenious Iconoclast, and Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker. And then we have a new Planeswalker card here. Dark, have you read this yet? The Ral, is it Viceroy?
Mm-mm.
Then you should read it.
All right, so Ral, is it Viceroy for
Yes,
3?
it is. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Keep going.
So for 3, a blue and a red. He's legendary Planeswalker Ral. His loyalty is 5. He's mythic. First ability is +1. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Okay. Second ability is a -3. Ral, is it Viceroy? Deals damage to target creature equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile or in your graveyard.
Yep.
Huh.
So if you've used Kick Jumpstart to cast a spell and it's exiled now, you still get the benefit of it for this. Okay?
And the last one, -8. You get an emblem with, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target to any target and you draw 2 cards.
Sick. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Pretty impressive. I kind of like it a little better than, like, flipping coins to try and get extra turns. I mean, that's a neat thing, but, I never really took to the original Rouse Eric person.
He was alright.
So, the reason we point him out is because he is new. So he actually is not just available here in this supplemental product, but he can be found in your or with his original art from the set in regular booster packs.
Yeah.
So, and then there will be, I want to say Lilia. That's not her name. We just said it.
Vraska?
Yeah, there will be Vraska in here as well, and they just haven't previewed that card, so we'll see it hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Do I like Ral? I think is interesting. Do I think it's gonna push aside like Teferi in Standard? No, probably not. But I think it's a cool card, and that limit break, while it costs a lot and you're gonna have to manage things really well to get there, if you actually pulled it off, that's ridiculous. That's just insane. So yeah,
I've just
neat.
noticed this. Is it just me, or does Nicol Bolas look kind of derpy in this art?
A little bit.
Okay.
I don't hate it, but
It's just a little bit of like like going on there. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. But yeah, these are sick. A lot of people have been talking about Elspeth's art because it's Elspeth in the Theros underworld with holding,
mask.
not wearing, holding her returned mask.
You also don't usually see Elspeth's face and her hair a whole lot, because in most art, she's got that white hood up.
Yeah.
So you don't really get to see a whole lot of her features. So it's kind of a unique look at that.
You'll also notice the hole in the chest plate where the spear stabbed her.
Yep.
Nice little touch. I like it. I hope that means that we see her come back in some way or another in the future, the near future.
I would love that. I think my favorite of these arts, though, has probably got to be Teferi. Just something about the way the picture is. I just think it's awesome. He looks majestic, yo.
Yeah, I really like Spirit Bomb Tezzeret too. Doesn't it look like he's gathering up a spirit bomb to throw at his enemies?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah. Now that you say it.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering
It's like
with
the
all
evil
these,
version
if
of it, though. So
I was wondering with these if there's some sort of this is the where they are currently or something of that sort with them. So I was wondering if what was the last thing that Tezzeret was doing when we last saw him.
he's integrated the planar gate. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Something
into
like that.
himself. So maybe, could be.
And Doretti's just hanging out on Kaladesh, like, what up?
Mm-hmm.
Liliana might be the outlier for that, because last we saw her was she killed the demons, and the Gatewatch was like, great, we'll meet you on Ravnica, and she intended to go with them, and she found she couldn't planeswalk, and Nicol Bolas showed up and said, hey, guess what? I own your contract. You literally have to do whatever I want, and if you think about betraying me, I'll just end your existence like that. So she's not in a good place right now, especially since she felt like she was doing a good job. She had bonded with Gideon in a way that she hadn't really bonded with anyone in a long time, and now she's really at a low point because she thought she was out, and they just keep dragging her back, and now she's working for someone even worse. So
that's bad when 3 separate demons in 3 separate planes of existence are the lesser of 2 evils.
Yes.
Damn.
technically 4 demons.
Oh my god. Excuse me. I forgot. There's always
all right.
one that I forget, so I just subtracted it.
It was in a core set, so that's but but she, you know, if we were to see her right now, she would be very pissed off. And in this, at least, she looks like she's delighting in doing something.
I don't know. That expression does not look very delighted. Oh well.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting take on it, Dirk. So those are the cards we know about now. And when we convene next, we will have a whole boatload of new cards. Because a lot of this is tied into the mechanics, and now we've kind of gotten that out of the way. So now it's just time for them to just show us, like, awesome stuff.
Yeah, and previews start Monday.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, dear listeners, our next episode will be our Guilds of Ravnica exclusive preview. Sick!
Mm-hmm.
That, I can't give anything away, obviously, but when I got the email, I was actually in line at Taco Bell. And so I opened it up and looked at the card, and I went, I wonder if they did this on purpose. Because it just seems to fit for us in multiple ways. I don't think they did it on purpose. I think it's just the one we got, random lotteried. But seems to work really well. I was like, is Blake being funny? I don't think Blake's being funny, but damn it, that's funny. So that means potentially next episode won't be live streamed because we can't live stream the card reveal, obviously, because our embargo date, such as it is the 17th. The dorks and I will discuss this. We'll either record that separately and stream the rest of the show, although that's dangerous, so we might just not stream and record that episode like we used to back in the day, and you'll have to wait. There will be no early release for that episode. There will be no anything. Everybody gets it Monday morning, or I guess Sunday night, because once it hits 12:01 local time, then I'm gonna send it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So watch this space to see if there's a live stream or not. We don't know. But yeah. So everything else here is just packaging art. And I think that's all we've got. The only other thing of note is the guild kit. Now, by the way, we didn't actually finish. The Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition is only going to be available on HasbroToyShop.com. And it goes up sometime October 3rd. And the bad part is it's only available in the US and Canada. At least as of right now. They're aware that that's really crappy, and I'm hoping that they do something about that, but I don't think they will, since they've only got a month to freaking do it. So yeah, just so everyone's aware. Right. And then the only other thing of note is they're doing a thing called guild kits. But as I said on Monday Night Magic, there's no write-up about it anywhere. This was only talked about in the weekly MTG stream. And there are 5 precons, one for each guild, that use cards from all the Ravnica sets. So that's pretty cool. Deathrite Shaman, for instance, is in the Golgari one. But we don't know that much else about them because there hasn't been a write-up yet. And I really hate it when they do news in a live stream and then don't have a follow-up article.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it, yesterday? No, today they did the live stream about the new Pro Tours, and look, here's an article. Wow, that's amazing. I don't know why they haven't done that with guild kits. It drives me up the wall. But anyway. And yeah, the guild kits have these sweet lands. I don't think they're foil, are they? I don't know, because there's no write-up! And I refuse to go watch the stream on principle because I have other crap to do. If they want to disseminate news, they need to put it on their website. There isn't even like a Tumblr post about it. Nowhere. They're just, hey, we talked about this on video once. Go watch the damn video, you losers. Anyway. Okay, they're not foil. Good. But they are still sick. And they're probably better not in foil, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Sometimes foil is nice to look at, but sometimes with very detailed art and everything, it just makes it so you lose that detail.
And also there's the curling issue that's a large pain.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, so let's wrap this episode up then, gentlemen. Or
sounds good.
Dorks. Or whoever you are.
That's us. So for my final thought, I'm going to break it into two quick parts, two mini thoughts, as it were. First was, while we didn't want to go into this a whole lot, I will say that interesting that they're changing the Pro Tour schedule for next year. And honestly, have to see if it's good or bad. More Pro Tours, probably not a terrible thing. I was born in Ohio and lived close to Cleveland for many years, so seeing the Pro Tour go there is kind of neat. The only thing I will say is that they are changing the naming convention back to Pro Tour and listing the name of the city where it's taking place. So Pro Tour Cleveland, Pro Tour Cairo, Pro Tour, Thomasville, things like that. So a man can dream. But
that is a horrible dream.
But it's my dream. Anyway.
Your dream sucks.
Yes. Like I don't hear that enough.
Oh, now I'm sad.
No, you're not. Anyway, my only issue with that, I mean, while they're doing that, basically, so that they don't have to associate Pro Tours with sets anymore, and that's fine, is that they used to do this. And my issue with that is anytime you go someplace more than once, like they went to Honolulu and loved it, so they went there a couple more times, is that you can't just refer to it as Pro Tour Honolulu anymore because there's been a couple. So I don't know how I feel about that. I almost wish we had some other way of naming them, but whatever. And then the personal final thought is I have checked out The Hobbit from the library via ebooks. I've been reading a little bit of it to Sam every night, and she was a little hesitant at first, and after like the first section, even the first couple pages, where Gandalf is meeting Bilbo on his front step, and Bilbo's like, I don't want an adventure, thank you. She has been loving it. And every night she's like, can we read more of The Hobbit? Nice. And I just want to say that I hadn't read to my daughter like in bed in a long time since she was much younger, and we're talking about like very, very simple books. So trying it on this much bigger scale has been interesting, and I'm trying to get through it while I've got it from the library. But
I have a copy in paper if you want to bum it.
Well, she's already said that she wants to ask for a copy for Christmas. So
sick.
That's how much she's enjoying it. So I just want to say that it's been a pleasure, and I'm really enjoying it. That's what I got. Man, I can go on about work and all that good stuff, but nah.
My copy, I just looked over at it on the bookshelf. My copy is beat all to hell. Because it's one of my favorites, and I've had it for many years.
So for my final thought, as normal for me, there are some times where I have profound final thoughts, and there are just sometimes where I have absolutely nothing. And unfortunately, this is one of the nights where I really just have nothing. I will say that earlier in the week, I don't know what was going on in my head, but I was on I'm going to build some commander decks. And so there were a couple ideas running through my head. I built one deck, and I have no idea how it will play because it has like 2 themes going on with it. And so again, we'd have to get together and play again and everything in order to see how it goes. But I have no idea why I got on building a commander deck uh, binge. And I attempted to build another commander deck, but realized I didn't have enough cards, and that meant I'd have to go dig through my boxes for uncommons and everything else. And at that point, I just thought, no, I don't want to have to do that. And just a random thought in addition to that, I really need to go to Lucky's and see if he's got big card boxes, because I really need some big card boxes.
Baby.
Mostly because I've been using the Fat Pat boxes to put that set's cards in, mostly because I don't have enough big boxes anymore, and I have a stack of 6 2x6, so that's 6 Fat Pat boxes right next to each other, and there's 2 levels to them. That's how many Fat Packs with card sets in them, or from a block that I've got in there that needs to go in a big box, a big cardboard box. So I have at least enough to fill one whole big box, and I need to get 2 of them.
These like the 3 column,
like
3
the
row
3
ones.
rows or 4 row ones that hold like 1,600 cards or 2,000 cards or something. Yeah, I need to get like 2 of them.
Nice. Luckily, those are cheap.
Yeah, it just has to be. I just need to be able to dedicate some time to do that. That's one thing for me this week is just I'm rushing to get everybody out of the house. I go to work, and then by the time I leave work, I don't have any time to go do anything other than go pick up the kids, make dinner, and then I have maybe an hour and a half to myself, once the kids are in bed, before I have to go to bed, and then rinse and repeat. And so I just really don't feel like I have any free time to do any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you that are not adults, that you're in school and everything, just so you know, being an adult sucks.
Yeah.
It has its ups and downs.
It has its pros and cons, but if you're looking for being able to enjoy yourself and have fun and everything, adulting feels like it has a lot more negatives than it has positives.
But you can have ice cream anytime you want, Dirk.
I could have ice cream when I was a kid if I wanted to. What's your point?
That was not in my house.
I think we've just learned something about Dirk's parents.
Yeah.
They're dirty hippies.
Dirk is tougher on his kids than his parents were. But I don't want to take Dirk's final thought and say his opinion is wrong. I will say that there's certain benefits to being an adult, but free time is not one of them.
No.
And even though there are other things that you might be able to do that you couldn't afford to do or didn't appreciate before, time is such a resource. And you don't know how little of it is until you have none. Or it just feels like you're always saying, I don't have time to do whatever, Trust me, man, I've been there. I feel like I'm in there now to a certain extent.
I mean, and I also don't want to trample all over Dirk's final thought, but I have to say, doing this full-time content creation thing that I have been working on for the last few years, you'd think, oh, that's great. I get to play games and then I can, for work, and then I can play games for fun. And I don't do that second part anymore.
Nope.
Like, it's hard. Only in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 months have I really tried to focus on stop working and go do other stuff. Like, this is a thing. I have to deal with this crap all the time from, because I do still have the part-time job at the dealership. And anytime that I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to leave work and go home and work now. And they're like, it's not work. Because these people work, their 8-10 hour days. And then they go home and they don't work anymore. And they can just do whatever until they go to bed. I don't have that. I have wake up, come to computer, do work, and then go back to sleep. Like that was my life for a long time. And that sucks, and it's really bad for you, which is why I've tried real hard to focus on stopping the work and like going to do something else. I've been working my way through X-Files. I'm like halfway done with season 4. Pretty sweet. I watched One Punch Man. I watched Pretty Woman a few nights ago, or over the weekend. I watched The Hunt for Red October. 2 excellent films, by the way, if you haven't seen them, everybody.
Now that's a crossover we need to have. Pretty
yeah.
Woman or the Red October.
The Pretty Woman hunts for Red October. Get it? So they were communists, and so she could be a double agent. She could pull off her hat, and she'd have red hair, and she'd be like red, and then the American submarine captain would shoot her. No, anyway. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, you'd think doing what I do that it's great, and I'd have all this free time, but I don't, unless I force myself to take free time, and then I still feel bad about not working. It's the damnedest thing. So I feel you, Dirk. Even though I don't have the day job and the wife and the kids, it's the same for all adults.
Yeah. We all feel it.
Yeah.
Anyway. I guess I should go last then, shouldn't I? There's
no one else here.
That's true.
Right, Mike?
That's
Mike... right. This is my terrible Mike impression again.
Oh my god. That only works when Mike's here, though. Damn it. I really hope he decided to listen to this episode because he wasn't on it, and right then he goes, Pwah! I really hope that happens. If it did, gotcha, Mike. He won't listen to this episode. But anyway, so, over on the YouTube channel, at youtube.com/themanapool, at the moment I've got Hearthstone Boomsday Project Puzzle Lab stuff going up. I recently finished that on stream, thank goodness. And I'm going to focus on just editing up the videos and try to turn this long period of time of me staring at the screen blankly into watchable videos. I've got a few episodes of DuckTales Remastered still going up. The final episode of the Stanley Parable goes up actually probably tomorrow? Very soon, at the very least. And yeah. Oh, and normal Hearthstone games as well. Along with both podcasts, of course. So that's what's going on YouTube. Soon those will be finishing up, and I'll have to find something else, which I will be streaming over here on twitch.tv/themanapool. That's where I stream all of the content. Soon, I finished Rogue Legacy on stream recently, so once I wrap up 1 or 2 of these series that are going, I'm going to start working on the Rogue Legacy videos. I've got some ideas for new stuff to start streaming, which would then be turned into YouTube videos, so at some point this weekend, if I'm able, I'm going to start streaming Transformers Devastation, and I blame Stark Maximum for that. Damn it, Stark. Yeah, it's all your fault. But that's okay. I've had the game for a while. I think it was a gift from Billy. And I keep meaning to play it, and Stark gave me an excuse. So yay, that'll be sometime this weekend. If you're listening to this podcast later, I'm very sorry. You missed it. Some of it will be going up on YouTube, I'm sure, because that's what I do. But anyway. So, with that, I will say you can find us all over the place as The Manapool, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Reddit. We have a subreddit that only one person uses. Thanks, Apple Cork. So, yeah. Basically, anywhere on the internet, if it's the Manapool, it's probably us. And by that, I mean me. And if you would like to help support what I do with this ridiculous amount of content that goes on, then the most direct way to do that is on patreon.com/themanapool, where you can become a lifeguard. You can become an uncommon lifeguard, which gets you a shiny silver name over in the Manapool Discord server, which, by the way, you should totally go join. We haven't cracked 100 people yet, and that bothers me. We're very close. But that gets you a shiny silver name in the Discord server, and it gets you early access to YouTube videos and Manapool episodes. The rare lifeguards get a nice golden name in the Discord server, and that gets you access to the odds and ends, which is all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. And Pinball Witch just threw 10 bits to tell people to come watch live on Twitch, which you totally should do, because it's awesome. And the Mythic Lifeguards get the early stuff, the odds and ends, a nice, awesome Mythic Orange title, or name, in the Discord server, and you get the shout out on both podcasts and on the end screen for all the YouTube videos. So I'd like to thank the following Mythic Lifeguards: Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Team U Hellas Haryu, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Bertain, Casey, Faye and Says, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Jimmy Scott, Violet Moon, Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerburn, and the Beastfather, Aaron Goodwine. Whew. Thank you all so very much for your generosity. I quite literally could not do it without you. Whew. Now I'm kind of lightheaded after reading all those names in just 2 breaths.
Gonna be okay.
Maybe. I'll pass out once we're done recording. So
Sounds good.
with that, this has been the Manapool number 524. Be sure to listen to next week's episode to hear all about our exclusive Guilds of Ravnica preview card. It'll be available Monday. Hang on. Monday. Am I streaming the screen? I'm not streaming the screen. Where is it? 9/17. Yeah. So Monday, September 17th is when we will reveal that. It'll be sick. So with that, we are done. So thank you all so very much for listening. And go play some Magic.